subcars are born to be legends. Others just stumble into it. The Chevy Nova is one of those rare cars that started off simple and accidentally became an icon. When Chevrolet first rolled it out in the early 1960s, it wasn't meant to dominate drag strips or become a hero of muscle car mythology. No, it was designed to be basic, transportationsmal, affordable, and practical for the everyday family. Over time, this unassuming, compact car transformed into one of the most feared street machines of its era. Today, the Nova stands as a symbol of American ingenuity, raw performance, and the power of doing more with less. This is the story of how a humble economy car became a muscle car legend. The Nova first hit the streets in 1962, but it wasn't even called the Nova yet. It was the Chevy 2. Chevrolet needed a fast, inexpensive answer to the compact car craze that was sweeping the nation. And the Chevy 2 delivered. It was brilliantly simple by design. Straight body lines, minimal trim, super lightweight. There was absolutely nothing fancy about it. It was just a clean canvas, ready for whatever the driver wanted it to be. A newbie knew it at the time, but this simplicity would become the Nova's greatest strength. Unlike the heavier, more complex muscle cars of the day, the Nova was compact, light, and incredibly easy to modify. And that meant one thing: potential. The moment hot rodders got their hands on it, the Nova's destiny changed forever. By the mid-1960s, Chevrolet realized that the Nova was quietly becoming a performance favorite. So, they leaned into it. The introduction of the Supersport, better known as the Nova SS, marked a huge turning point. Suddenly, this little economy car could be ordered with real muscle right from the factory. Engines like the 283 and the legendary 327 V8 made the Nova very quick. Because the car was so light, it didn't need massive horsepower to make a big impression. It was agile, responsive, and surprisingly aggressive. The Nova was starting to carve out its own identity, moving away from its budget char roots and into the world of performance. But the best was yet to come. The thing changed in 1968. The second-generation Nova arrived with a completely new body. It was sleeker, tougher, wider, and far more aggressive. This is the Nova the world remembers. Sharp, muscular lines. A bold, intimidating stance. A look that just meant business. And under that bold new styling came the option for serious earth-shaking power, including the 350 small block and the absolutely brutal 396 big block. Now, the Nova wasn't just a fast compact anymore, it was a full-fledged muscle car. A street warrior that could hold its own against Chevelles, Camaros and Mopar's finest. Many people didn't expect a small car to be that quick. And that element of surprise became a huge part of the Nova's legend. It was the ultimate sleeper. On the drag strip, the Nova became an absolute nightmare for the competition. You see, lightweight cars with big block engines are a very dangerous combination, and the Nova took full advantage of it. Racers loved the car because it was easy to work on, easy to modify, and responded incredibly well to upgrades. With the right setup, a Nova could launch like a rocket at its nose, lifting as the rear tires bit hard into the pavement. It quickly became known as the Giant Killer, the little Chevy that punched way above its weight class. And unlike many high-performance cars of the time, the Nova kept its unassuming sleeper look. It didn't need flashy stripes, spoilask, or graphics. It just let the engine do all the talking. But here's what made the Nova truly special. Despite its rising popularity on the track, it remained a practical and affordable car. Families bought them. Young drivers bought them for their first car. Daily commuters bought them. It was extremely rare for a car to appeal to both the high-performance world and the everyday world. But the Nova managed to do exactly that. It was reliable, easy to maintain, and offered good mileage for the time, yet when equipped with the right V8, it could embarrass cars that cost twice as much. This perfect balance between practicality and raw performance made the Nova a true everyman's muscle car. You could drive it to work all week and then go hunting for GTOs on Saturday night. As the 1970s rolled on, the Nova continued to evolve, too. The 1972 models kept that aggressive stance and strong performance, offering legendary engines like the 350 and the high-output 396. These years are often considered the peak of the Nova S muscle car era. But by the mid-70s, the automotive landscape was changing. Strict emissions regulations, rising insurance costs, and the fuel crisis began to reshape the industry, too. The golden age of muscle cars was coming to an end, and the Nova had to change with the times. The later models became more focused on economy than raw power. Even so, the Nova's name continued on, appearing on everything from daily drivers to police cars. It wasn't the same wild machine it had been, but the legacy was still alive. To date, the Chevy Nova is a beloved favorite among collectors, racers, and classic car enthusiasts. Restorers love them because parts are plentiful and easy to find. Drag racers still love them because they're lightweight rockets with endless potential for modification. And everyday enthusiasts love them because they represent a time when cars were simple, mechanical, and full of character. Whether it's a perfectly preserved bone stock survivor or a heavily modified tubbed-out street beast, a Nova always stands out. It has attitude, it has presence, and it has a reputation that was earned the hard way through years and years of dominating the streets. The Chevy Nova proves that greatness doesn't always come from a flashy design or a huge price tag. Sometimes it comes from simplicity, from untapped potential, and from the right combination of power and personality. What started as a basic economy car became one of the most respected and feared muscle cars ever built. The Nova didn't set out to be legendary. It just became legendary. And that's what makes it truly special. This is Deep Dive Automotives. Thanks for watching, and remember, real legends aren't always the biggest or the loudest. Sometimes they're the ones you never see coming.